Every year in Cameroon, tons of agricultural produce end up as huge heaps of garbage, grown with deep love and devotion. These fruits, vegetables, and other crops litter our streets, while the farmers continue to struggle. Many have said that agricultural transformation is the best solution to this problem. And we say Phoenix Agri-Entrepreneurship Community Program, AGREC, is the best place to start. AGREC is the most innovative and only tuition-free program in the Republic of Cameroon that takes business students and makes them food and beverage entrepreneurs. Held each year under the auspices of the Minister of Higher Education with institutional support from the Ministries of Agriculture and Rural Development and Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Social Economy and Handicrafts, AGREC has become the reference in agricultural entrepreneurship in Cameroon. Are you a holder of the Advanced Level Certificate? Are you passionate about project management or marketing, trade sales or accountancy, or logistics and transport management, or international trade? Do you aspire to become a big name in the food and beverage sector? Then register for AGREC today. Call 675-102650 or visit www.funic.co. The future is bright. The future is Funic. Your future is AGREC.
Forging a successful career path begins from your foundation, a foundation of quality and professional education. It is a weapon of transformation and a passport to the future. It marks credibility and years of training thousands of professionals in HND, BTech, BSc, and MBA in the schools of Business and Management Sciences, Engineering and Education, with remarkable mentorship from the University of Bamenda for the BTech and MBA and the University of Boya for the BSc program is second to none. From committed professors and lecturers in classrooms to numerous academic field trips, internships and workshops, HIPMAP will reform and guide you towards your success. Admissions are now open in our Boya and Douala campuses. Join us. Together, we will build a legacy.
HIPMAP is what it is today because of its excellent and competent teachers.
Your children HIPMAP will be the perfect place to gain that professionalism that you need to further your educational career.
The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, the University Institute for Professionals.
Welcome to today's edition of Prime Hour on My Media Prime. We this day are going to be looking at the land saga in Fako division, actually zooming on Mutengene, the junction town of the southwest region found in Tiko subdivision. We are going to be listening to what is happening as far as the land saga is concerned, with two persons who have come all the way from Mutengene, fondly called Cham. They are in the studio with us to be discussing about what is happening. We hope that we are going to move next week to Mutengene ourselves so that we can talk to everybody concerned with this land issue so that we can bring better clarity on what is happening out there. We are in the company of Mbah Stanley, Mr. Mbah Stanley, who is from Mutengene. Good evening. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
How is Cham?
No, everything is fine. It's just that we have a common problem that is disturbing us down in Mutengene, so we need to clear it off. So
okay, you are going to be clearing up. You came alongside Mbella Elive, who is also very involved with land issues out there in Mutengene. We are glad to have you for the first time in our studios.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. It's a pleasure to meet here today to put certain light on this issue. And it's quite a serious issue that is happening in Mutengene, junction town, which before now was known for being too rough. But we've joined our hands together to make Mutengene a place worth living. But again, when we start seeing certain things coming up, we have every reason to blow our whistle for the public to come and be aware of it.
Okay, we were expecting a barrister and another person from Mutengene. They are unavoidably absent for this edition of the program. But Tamai Jarvis is also accompanying our discussions this evening out here in the studios. Good evening, Jarvis.
Good evening, Leonard. Good evening, Mutengene. Good evening to His Excellency President Paul Biya, and of course the Prime Minister, Head of Government.
Okay, we also are putting our ears and eyes on Kumba, the chieftain of Mehmet Division, knowing fully well that by tomorrow we should know who is going to emerge as the city mayor for that town described as known as the Green City. We are using this opportunity to send special greetings to the people of Nyasoso who should be watching us this evening. Special greetings to you, Pa Wata, the chief there in Nyasoso, and to you, Mbachu, Ernest, and everybody watching us from Nyasoso, and also the population of Mutengene. We are glad pertaining to land.
Yes, Mr. Moderator, as I started when this program just kicked off, Mutengene is a junction town. And as a matter of fact, going straight to the point, in 2015,
yeah,
I mean particularly or specifically, we had a problem in Mutengene caused by one person in the name of Musambua who came and started creating problems, destroying people's food crops and cash crops even, in a quarter called Isuke. Isuke is a quarter in Mutengene. So it came that he was a chief, has come to take over his grandfather's properties and so on. So we lodged a complaint to the divisional officer, Tiko, in 2015, that is on around 5th of January. So doing, the divisional officer gave an administrative invitation to all of us who had lands or who have lands in the area. We went and visited him. He said, we should come along with documents claiming our lands in the area. That land, first of all, it's national land of the first category. I mean, it's the village land. So this national land of the first category is where people, I mean, it is habitable. That's a village land. So after so many years that Mutengene had existed, we've never seen such a problem there. It came that he has come to inherit his grandfather's property, meaning land and everything which was inside. So the DO called us, invited us, we were there. This particular person never brought a single document to justify his ownership of a square meter of that land in that stretch of area. In fact, in February, the DO decided to put an administrative injunction based on the name, but that is not why we went to him. We did not go there to argue a name of a village, but he instituted an injunction order saying he has put an injunction order here on this land till the final determination of the matter. That means whether that land is found in Isuke, Bonganjo, Mutengene, or Gwenga. But that was not, I mean, the purpose of our complaint. We went there because our crops were destroyed. So putting an injunction based on the name, we started doubting whether the administrator did not know his area of command. So that is where that land saga started.
Okay, how long have you been in Mutengene, and why do you think that the said chief does not have authority over the land?
Actually, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. As Mbella Elive Ella said, I was born in Mutengene and born and bred in Mutengene. And my father came to Mutengene in the early 1946, and he was farming. He was so close to the Bakwarians. They gave him a land there. He worked upon the land until about 1952 that he bought the land. So he has My family have been cultivating on that said piece of land for more than 60 years. That is before I was born, because some of the story concerning this said piece of land was being told to me by my mother. So we have been working on that piece of land for quite some time, and today I have grown up to be a parent also. I have never heard a name of such as Bonganjo in Mutengene. I know of a Suke Winga. That our documents are showing that we bought that place, and that is the name that I know.
Yeah, but at the time you bought the land, the person who sold the land, or the chief at the time, was it not the father of the person who is laying claims on the piece of land now?
Actually, that piece of land is being occupied by some indigenous from the same village that are Bakwarians, and some of them are still owning land in the same place. So my father bought the land from JB Welete, that the family of that same JB Welete are still alive, and we are as one family. So he was just recently inaugurated as a chief in that same area by the deal of Tiko.
Oh, the person you're talking about?
Yes, my landlord. Yeah.
So we are talking about Bonganjo, Esuke, Buinga. Where is the problem? Is it in Buinga? Is it in Esuke? Is it in Bonganjo? And do we have two chiefs there?
In that same area, I know that there's one chief. That is Ekome Welete. That is the chief of Buinga 1. That I know.
Okay, the land is Buinga 1.
Yes.
Okay. That might have is a very funny situation here. I'm sure you've covered extensively land matters in Fako, but the one of they talk of Mutengene, but now we hear of Buinga 1, Bonganjo, and the very complex.
It's kind of complex, depends on how the administrative arm is putting it. I think the head of state is struggling to unite Cameroonians and to ensure that we take effective decentralization and respect the specificity and the cultural inclination of each division or each village. But when you look at the issue in Mutengene, it's raising a question whether the head of state is moving on constructing, and some other few persons are moving on removing the construction from the head of state. I want to give you, from my few investigations I did around Mutengene, specifically this land saga. You should remember that there was an injunction in 2015 that was issued by the DU, stating that when this land matter actually started, stating that the entire Injidins and those who occupy lands in that area should come for a discussion so that he can understand the matter very well, because there was a confusion with the name. Some were saying that it is Bonganjo, and why the village, it's a quarter which is called the quarter is I think is okay. Now when you have Bonganjo and you have Esoke, there's that confusion. Now the DU gave an injunction by 2015. Now that injunction did not just end. By 2017, Mr. Mbua had moved over to the land, while the injunction was still in full effect. And you see that it is now the DO has a prerogative to resolve issues within that area. He has a prerogative to understand the needs of the people and to see how he can resolve it. But the shocking issue there is that when he issued an injunction order in 2015, that injunction order simply meant that people should not move into the land to do construction, and the inhabitants who had the original people who had bought land, who had been cultivating the land, halted project of the land. But actually the geo state that you can move on with your cultivation. Those who had cultivation issues, if you have planted crops, move on with your crops. Why investigations are ongoing. Now in 2017, the sales document was published now on the same land by the DO. The sales document, not the sales document, the land application title was published by the DO under a different name, now Bonganjo. Now, if you go down to the history of Mutengene and the Southwest region, Bonganjo is not in Mutengene. Bonganjo is in lower, is in Boya. If you look at, there's a ministerial gazette issued by Minister Rene, former Minister of Territorial Administration, Rene Emmanuel Sadi. And people who are watching us can go. It's accessible even now to the office of the Minister of Territorial Administration under Paul Atanganji. The ministerial gazette has all the list of the villages in Southwest and in Fako. And in the ministerial gazette, the Bonganjo they are talking about is in Boya, not in Mutengene. And the Bonganjo is is in Tole. There's lower Bonganjo in Tole, and there's one in Bonakanda. Now, but if we look at what this same person is talking about, the village at Bonganjo, it is not talking about a Bonganjo in Mutengene. Now, in Tiko subdivision. So it raises that problem that now, after that, there was that tussle. The matter went back to the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, received the matter and responded to the indigents. He replied to the indigents that saying that the SDO of Fako should look at the issue and resolve it with the indigents alongside with the person who is claiming ownership of the land. Now, when Paul Atanganji sent the communique, they were happy that they are going now to the SDO. The SDO will use its law and order to resolve it. The SDO created a commission, a 7-day commission. A commission gave an ultimatum of 7 days that it should be resolved. And that 7 days stating that they should still respect the same injunction order. But till date, see, that was April. We are talking about April, which they said the 7-day injunction will be given. Now, till date, we are now October. Now, October, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. We are 7 months. Now, the commission, is the commission still using typewriter? Or is a commission working on food? That from this period, and construction is still ongoing, and there's still an injunction order. And there was a letter that was sent to the page, the Procurator General. The Procurator General sent to the State Council that this matter should be investigated and that all construction should be halted. But as we speak, construction is still ongoing. I'm asking the question, are we in the state of law as Cameroon is the state of law? People are respecting law. Minister of Territorial Administration respected the law by stating that the SDO should look into the matter. The SDO too has a prerogative. Something is not right somewhere, Leonard. Okay, something is not right somewhere. Can we have an excerpt of what is happening in the said piece of land? We call it Mutengene, but here we are now talking of Bonganjo, Isuke, and Buinga 1. Can we get the excerpt of the ladies who was reacting to how they were received at the SDO's office?
We go for DO, we go for SDO, we don't go there. SDO, the instant day we say, we recommend that people are not supposed to get land for here. We go for DO drive me for your office, say no one will come again for your office. So they don't come create village on top another village where first be when Benga, Isuke, Benga, Mutengene. Who get land certificate for the place. They don't come now, come plant Bonganjo, say they don't put Bonganjo cheap for there. The man don't cut woman, they are chop, destroy all what chop them for down. If they the bee houses, them say na a village. Say no one see no man for there. People, the boys in there more than 60. Any man will go from now for them, they catch you, they beat you. So we don't come today for front state council so then take action for the matter because farmers and for that place we don't tire, we don't be fed up. They don't carry flag. Cameroon flag or hang them for them. When you come, he say be chief. Now a village, he say get 9,000 hectares of land. Now a village. Presently for my own place, they build now on top of my own place. It don't fence them. It don't. It cut people their cocoa, cut coffee. I don't know whether some one person be against the law. So would the beg say make they see how they will call this man to order because the farmers then will no one violent. If we carry our own picking and go for day, war for don't come up for that place. So we prevent for bring war for that place. We don't report for all places they were supposed to report, but they didn't fit for give any action. So the beg say make they try for see how they go call it to order because it don't destroy woman their chop cassava them for down plenty in the bee houses them for an injunction there for that place administrative injunction there for that place. The question who they ask and I say since when the man the bee house they complain for zero when injunction there for the area it means if it doesn't make the farmers they not work men that them who continue for work.
Mabaka Mutengene in 1920 he stayed for Moliwe. He worked under elders in those days of banana. When he resigned, he came back to cultivate banana. By 1954, 1954, My pa go to one part J Welete, the family, where they Mutengene, near Benyo Bridge. They give a piece of land for cultivate banana. Where we cultivate by 1964, my pa buy that land with the document, where the bag bringer and other neighbors who I know they did it, I know they and they know me. We never get no dispute concerning Gwenga. We go for jail. Jail say we go walk. We go jail say if my one die, we don't die. We never come up one die. We carry some land. And my landlord, the landlord my part buy land for them. They still know me, and we still like family blood, family people. We still exchange everything together with other people. We go for SDO, so we can no go, more go. So no enter back with land. I said, Papa, I came on land. We get documents. SDO no agree. The kind of village, now the new created villages. Now the village zero particular installer. So well, all the population, so and many others under the sick. Demand the chapter cassava will come for court, they agree. Or destroy chop. Now, when sick, what come? Do all thing. The beef, we go jail the driveway. Say when I go back. So we complain, we beg for Prime Minister, Minister, Governor.
Okay, Mr. Mbella. Yes, you get what they are saying. Where are the indigents of this village? We are talking about Bwinga because all of them are saying that they bought the land as Bwinga. Where are the indigents of Bwinga, and they set a Welete that you claim is the chief of that village?
Yes, Mr. Moderator. The fact is that the indigents are there. You know, I am an elite of that area. And there are other people, there are indigents, they will learn certificates.
Okay.
They are there. The fact is that, you see, when you look at the gross violation of an administrative order, that is what baffles us more. Because when the DO puts an injunction order restraining or restricting people from carrying out construction work, in fact, I know that Cameroonians are law-abiding. And when they go to say, okay, the DO has put an injunction, let us respect the injunction. An individual goes that further to destroy, to violate that injunction. You see, that is why we are saying we have to blow our whistles, because nobody has monopoly when it comes to violence. But we are not people of violence. And the indigents are there. You see, some of them would have been here, but just but for the fact that maybe one or two things, maybe health reasons, that's why they are not here. They are there. But the real problem there is, how can somebody be violating an administrative injunction with total impunity? If you look at the Article 4 of that same injunction, it's clear that the forces of law and order are assigned with these instructions. That's to maintain peace. I mean, to maintain order, to make sure that injunction is respected. So, at the end of the day, I myself, I have carried an officer, a police commissioner, when this guy was violating this injunction, when he was constructing. The police commissioner stopped him. I said, don't you know that this place has an injunction order? He said, in pidgin, I don't want an injunction, don't stay. As a matter of fact, injunction is not being put in perpetuity. Injunction is put for temporary, measures.
Yeah, but I understand a commission was supposed to have been created after the injunction was placed on that part of the land.
Yes.
Where is the commission today, and why have they not done the job?
That is what baffles us, because after that we've even reported back to the administration that this is what is happening. If you look at the recent sales of 9 million, 1 point something million, if there is an injunction on the land, you keep on selling the land.
But what is the commission?
Well, I cannot say, because
was the commission created at all?
It was, because we attended the meeting in Limbe.
Where is the commission now?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to say it has disappeared in thin air, because we were given 7 days for the commission to come up with their results. It is clear on the document, on the communique. So for more than 6-7 months now, things are going the wrong way.
Things are going the wrong way, Mr. Now, why do you think the administration is observing what is happening in that area? And I ask a question which has not been answered also. Where is the chief that you claim is the chief of that village?
It was just recently inaugurated, and it's still to come. You know, in our own side there, when a chief is being inaugurated, it takes some certain documents to start work. Yes, so the most important thing is
you're talking about the chief of Buinga?
Yes.
Or Esuke or Bunganju?
Esuke is a quarter in Mutengene. That Esuke River, it got a name from that river, as people used to call it Esuke River. But the real name of that place is Buinga. Yeah, so that is the Esuke is the river.
Okay.
Yeah. So as for now, people just jointly call the name Esuke Buinga because of the river. Yes. So the chief of the place that I know is Welete.
Where is him?
He's in Mutengene working at the council in Tiko.
Yeah, but why is he not also coming out to help you people in the face of all of this?
You know, formerly, it has caused us a very serious problem in Mutengene before he was being inaugurated. It seemed as if there was a mafia, because each time when they go and apply for his inauguration, it seems as the administration is behaving in a funny way. So they have really seen that the people are coming up and there's pressure. That's why he decided to inaugurate him.
It was inaugurated by the divisional officer?
Yes.
But now, where is he going to rule if another chief is laying claim to the village?
Yeah, you see, the issue here, you are used to Fako, I'm happy, and you are used to the mafiaism when it involves coronation. And of recent, the chiefs recently, the Bakuri chief said they will no longer invite administrative officials again to come for coronation, like we saw in Bitingi when the chief was coronated. There was no deal, and it was purely a traditional affairs because they wanted to limit the administrative arm. And the issue comes that the reason why he's seemingly quiet, we all know that you cannot beat the hand that gives you food. And definitely you understand that there's a point in time where you must share an interest, not because you like it, but because you want to keep a certain heritage. And the truth here is that the DO and the SDO know what they are doing. It's not like what they are doing they don't know. What they're doing is unconstitutional and lack legal basis, and equally fight against the value of national unity and Vivian Sam. Because we are talking about a certain, there was a commission created in this country, that's bilingualism and multiculturalism. Therefore, as it states that a Cameroonian by birth or by naturalization can live and own a property in whichever territory he or she deems it necessary, and he or she feel like there's peace and serenity in that area in promoting the national unity and integration. But when you see instances where individuals who have lived in an area for over 30-50 years, who legally, not illegally, legally purchase their land from this same chief who was really coronated, and you see issues that are happening, and you see someone just come and says that that quarter is my village, and a DO and an SDO under the authority of Minister Paul Atangani will stand and tell you that you are a graphic man, go to your village. I think this is an action that the head of state and the minister should not tolerate, because we cannot be dividing Cameroonians. At the point in time that we need unity and integration, at the point in time that we need that Cameroonians will all call Viva and Sam. But when you see these actions like this, that the chief is quiet, it's not like he's happy with the situation. Sometimes when you are on the verge, you cannot react, and that is why it is now the prerogative of Cameroonians, of goodwill Cameroonians and the indigenous to stand up and defend the interests of their land from a peaceful perspective and from a legal perspective. Cameroon is a state of law, and if Cameroon be that state of law, we expect that things to change. Look like what happened in 2015, an injunction was given. In 2017, a land application certificate was still issued by the office of the SDO, and this is what people don't know. The office of that DO gave there's a document signed by the office of that DO, which was not this DO, but a different DO who was there previously, had the name Esoka. Now, but this DO now has a different name, Bonganjo. You have a two conflicting name from the same office. One DO is giving a different name, a previous DO is giving a different name. A new DO now comes up, and because this man, Mr. Mboa, has met this new DO, and they had the injunction in 2015, and in 2017, injunction was lifted, and he still moved and said the land from a different name now, which is now captured Bonganjo. Now, the question now is, where is the senior divisional officer of Fako. I equally ask the question, where are the elites of Mutengene? Because this is a moment where we expect to see elites, not just of Mutengene, elites of the entire Fako division, elites of the southwest region, because it's not just affecting Mutengene. There was a case in point around Moya where we had a series of villages created, which caused a problem like this. And we are still witnessing this. And the question now is, where next are they going to? And it's causing a lot of people problems.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. I think the Mutengene land saga shows proof that the deal's hands are tied. That's why somebody can violate an administrative injunction with no problem. Desmond is writing from Douala. Fellow panelists and the moderator, good evening. I think there is a ministry in Cameroon that is in charge of land certificates. So let that ministry come clear to declare who owns the Mutengene land under dispute. Former Desmond. Okay. This one says, hello, please. I want to know the 5 villages that make up the Mutengene court area. I'm Sandra. Would also love to ask Mr. Mbella and his company of elites where they come from. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Special greetings from Alex Isuboy in Mutengene to my friend and bro Jarvis. Good evening to you. Alex, I don't know what to say. Yes, good evening, Alex. This one, Emmanuel in Bamenda town says that's actually inhuman. Let the government see something. Okay, Mr. Leo, good evening. Please, we plead with the person with the cap to use the microphone to, for us to get him well. I'm sure that issue has been fixed already. This is a demolition order from the mayor of Tiko Council. Yeah. That was 2017. Yes. Demolition order for construction at Isuke Mutengene by mayor and SDO of Fako. This demolition order was for the disrespect of the injunction
administrative order? Injunction. And building without an approved building permit from the council.
From the council for Isuke.
Yes. Yes.
Is it about the same land? And how come, where is Bongaju coming from?
Yeah, that is why that demolition order is clear. Straight to the point. If you look at it there, it says a house constructed by Litake Mwangambua. It is there. It is there. If you look at it, it is clear. And visited by the SDO.
Authorization is hereby granted to the technical service of Tiko Council to immediately carry out the demolition of a building constructed by Mr. Litake Mwambo and others at Esuke Mutengene. Yes, it is actually called Esuke Mutengene. Yeah, but where is Bongaju coming from?
That is where the problem lies. You see, if not of particularly this violation of that injunction order, we did not go there for the names. Like after when Victoria was changed to Limbe, people's houses remained where they are. Yes. Not so. So you will not ask the government, why are you changing the name? But the fact is that when you change a name, then somebody carries out wanton destruction on people's property. That is where the problem lies. Look at that particular demolition order was never executed. You see, now, you start, what impression are you giving to the common man or the people who have lands there? What impression are you giving? Because the fact is that if somebody is carrying out such wanton destruction and selling lands, we have photocopied documents where he has sold lands in 2020.
9 million.
Millions upon millions. The documents are there. Then what are they telling the people? You see, what we are really saying now is that Cameroon is a state of law. We are not, nobody has monopoly over violence. So that's why I still repeat, and that is why the minister wrote to the people of that community, and he directed us to see the senior divisional officer accordingly. So if nothing has been done, we are worried. And I want to tell you some serious thing happening. Presently, as we are talking, 2 days ago, he attacked some old woman and the children who went to do their
we are going to watch the. But my question is, this is addressed as Isuke. Where is Bongaju coming from? When did this name come from?
As a matter of fact, I want to tell you a bit history of Mutengene. Mutengene, the Bonganjo community, had a family head Mutengene, people came from Boya, we have Fue, we have the Bonganjo, they had family heads. And if you go to 1911 map, you will look at on the map and you see where those family heads were located or situated, you know. Normally, maybe the population started growing overnight, but again, it was not a village. If you ask the administration who had been a chief of that very Bonganjo that they are talking about, they will know. I don't know whether it will ever come, because that very area, late Chief Frederick Luma Mambie signed documents of land which were even processed to acquire land certificates. And that's why we have land certificates on that land, on that stretch of land. You find it there, Isuke, Mutengene, Benga. They are there, it is clear. It is clear. So if somebody is doing destruction because of a name, that beats our imagination that much. So if you look at, you see, we are not even talking against their chieftaincy, because nobody contested chieftaincy.
This other one is administrative invitation certified through copy, okay, from the sub-prefect, super-prefect, that is the divisional officer, following a complaint received on the 15th of January 2015. It talks about over a parcel of national land of the first category, yes, at Buinga Mutengene.
At Buinga Mutengene. At Buinga Mutengene. It is clear. At Buinga Mutengene. So we doubt how the Bonganjo is coming now to cause a lot of destruction in the area.
Let me just you see like this, the period of German Cameroon to entering now the British Southern Cameroon, and now where we are today. There was that influx of people who left Bova, Tole, and came down because of CDC and settled now in Mutengene. Now, in this Isuke, there were people who had lived in that area, like we have the current Moya now. They will have Moya Down, and you have Upper Moya. Where people were living in Moya Down, the real Moya was in Moya Down. Now, because of activities and the road that was recently constructed, the Kumbashes road, people migrated now from Moya Down back to the road, and now they started establishing. It's the same scenario where you had people who left Tole, Boganjo from Tole, and the Bova from this side, and they left now migrated from the late the early 1900s. Now when they left, they started migrating and intermarrying, and now the name was still maintained as Boganjo in this area of Tole and the area of Bova. Now in this area of Isoke, it was maintained as Isoke. You see that because of, as time went on, people now the population started swelling, and people now left that Isuke, now came to the center of town, because you could not leave the village, you could not be in that village alone. The left now came to the center of town. That area now was left for people to do their cultivation, and as time went on, they abandoned the area, people were doing their cultivation, but at this time, people still had their land in that area, and they were cultivating. People who left that Isuke came now to the road where we have now the current busy town. It doesn't refuse the fact that that area was Bonganjo. No, it was not Bonganjo. It was for Isoke. Now he has come now to claim that he has the land, which without a land title, but with people who already have their land title signed. Now the problem, the issue of land title in Cameroon, like we had for the CDC and we had for the University of Boya. When I see somebody writing a message that now there's a ministry in terms of land title, I think there's still a problem. If you saw Dorothy Lunganjoma, Professor Dorothy Lunganjoma had to come up and fight again for UB. You see the issue of land title, when it comes to land title, especially when somebody has money. What is interesting to know that there was a mayor in Tiku, and the SDO has sent a letter of demolition to the mayor. But why did the mayor not carry out that demolition exercise as mandated by the super-prefect? And the super-prefect now, who saw that no action was taken, why did he not react in follow-up?
Yeah, but the problem is the mayor asked for a demolition order. Why has the council not
that's what I'm going that. Why did the council not execute that demolition order? The then council, because we could be talking about council, somebody may feel like it's Mesoso, it's not Mesoso. We're looking at the different leadership. So why did they not carry that out? And secondly, the senior divisional officer, why has the senior divisional officer not reacted based on, because there's a follow-up? I have instructed this and that. Now again, there's a question mark. The people now, in their benevolence and the respect of Cameroon laws and principles, went back to their father, the SDO, and that Papa, this is what is happening. You gave a demolition order, it has not been carried out. Instead, they call them names like graffiti, which is unethical.
Okay, please, good evening to you all in the studio. We of Mutengene are tired of these corrupt administrators. Our Honorable Etoke went to Yaoundé last year to see the Prime Minister and the Minister of Territorial Administration to complain of the creation of fake layout chiefs. Now he is no longer in office. Let our MP come to our rescue, like Mamin Jema is fighting for the Bulu people. Where are our mayors and parliamentarians? Do they want these administrators to sell all our lands with fake chiefs? Okay, this one says the chiefs are foolish. Okay, this one says good evening to you all, Leo. All the panelists are, to the best of my knowledge, the Fako administrators are working in collaboration with these chiefs. Ka is writing from Limbe. Good evening, Mr. Leo. The land issues in Fako is really a call for concern. SDO and chiefs enriching themselves. A chief will apply for a land on the pretense of the villagers, but in the end, the villagers get nothing. You only see them on their children changing cars. Okay, this one says, good evening, dear panel members. We are watching from Mutengene, and we know very well that Cameroon is a state of law. Mr. Mboa cannot deprive Cameroonians of their properties. That house to this so-called chief built is on top of our land. He has chased us from the land with wild security dogs and molested my parents and all the people who legally own this land. Let the law see into this. Okay, Gideon, can we have the video of the squabbles, the daily squabbles that happen on that parcel of land?
What do you want to do? Stop that. I'm not going to come out. I'm not
that is the sad situation. Daily stories from Mutengene. Why don't you people think you can sort this thing away from the administration? Have you, from the beginning of this whole brouhaha, met the chief in question to try to seek a peaceful way of solving the crisis?
Thank you very much. If you look at the situation at hand, that man is a brute.
Okay.
He's not that type of person that you can talk to him and today you feel that you will behave the same. The more you give yourself to him, the more he gets to you. As for now, let me tell you, I'm born and bred in Mutengene. I grew up in Mutengene, attended my primary and secondary school in Mutengene. Mutengene has been a place that nobody has ever dreamed to stay there. But today people are looking for possibility to stay in Mutengene, but not forgetting about the situation that Mutengene have once gone through. For example, if actually we decided to take law into our hands, it will not be nice. It is not that we cannot do things the way we want or the way we can't. That person is not a person that you can talk to him and you feel that he will bring peace. For example, me, I have a cocoa farm there. All this while he has been plotting the place with pillars. He claims that they are pillars that are already start. And when his guys went out to work, they harvested my cocoa in any form. Trees that have spent money to treat them, and they have possibility to harvest my cocoa in a hazard manner. And they are even ready to fight with you. They don't even bother. So the only solution to this problem is that the administration is corrupt. Let the senior administrators see a way forward to solve this problem, because as I'm talking to you now, as we are blowing this whistle, the whole world is hearing. Don't be surprised to hear tomorrow that something else is happening in Mutengene in that same place, because I know Mutengene very well. Some of us that who have been grown up in Mutengene, we are a good example of Mutengene. I'm 43 years old. I've never been to the police station, but each and every time, this same man will take us to the judicial police, just because the senior state council Itiko have studied the matter, and the former senior state council, all thanks to the new senior state council who have just come, that is really taking things the way we feel at least it will be nice for the farmers, because he himself has realized that there's a big problem. So now, if you look at the problem now in Mutengene, I'm just pleading, because at the long run, it might cause a disaster.
It may cause a disaster, but someone just wrote asking where the politicians who are supposed to represent their people are they not observing what is happening? They say Honorable Fritz Etoket carried the matter to Yaoundé, but they regret the fact that he's not there. Have you made efforts to meet some of the politicians now to also listen to your cry?
Yes, you see, I had once even met the mayor, the present mayor. I've written to him. I've been the chairman for land and town planning in Tiko municipality for the past 6.5 years.
Okay.
This matter started when I was still there. And if you go to that office, town planning office, you find a pile of applications written by him for people to come and, for the council to approve building permits. The council has a copy of this injunction. Recently I wrote to the mayor. If you look at what is happening there, he comes here, he constructs, he excavates, puts a foundation, he goes there, he puts a foundation and starts building. How much money has he to be building houses all over? So, you see, when I wrote to the mayor that somebody cannot be carrying on construction works in that area without approved building permits. And up till now, we've not yet had the reply.
Yes, but you are just citing the mayor. We have MPs, we have other persons.
Yeah, look at Tiko and Mutengene have one parliamentarian. This time the parliamentarian is coming from Oyuka. So, as a matter of fact,
have you reached out to him?
Oh, where do you see him? Where do you see him? We are lucky to have Honorable Etoke, who used to be with the people on a day-to-day basis. And even today, that is not a parliamentarian anymore, but a parliamentarian remains a parliamentarian. He's ever with his people in Mutengene. Yesterday, the whole of last week. And that is why he was able to carry this matter to the minister and to the prime minister. We've gone there. You see, so, like a parliamentarian who is coming now from Oyuka, where do you see him? Where was he even during the time of elections? If you ask so many people in Tiko, do you know a parliamentarian? They will say, no, we don't know him.
He won there.
He won there. So when you talk of politicians coming to solve some of these problems, I'll tell you no. That is why you see us hooked with the administration. Let them untie that bundle with the tide. So if you see us hooking with the administration, it is because violation of administrative orders are punishable. So if you cannot punish somebody who violates your administrative orders, there's a very big question sign.
Okay.
For example,
yeah,
me, I'm from a royal family. I'm from a royal family, and my father got married to 9 wives. And as a royal prince, chiefs are being respected, and chiefs are custodians and eye of the government. And as a chief, you are a peacemaker. I have never seen an arrogant chief. So for me, what I'm seeing is really too bad for a common man. Why? Because I have never seen a chief destroying crops, cross-cutting plantains, cassava, palm trees. Even now, as I'm talking, couple of about 6 months ago, I went to our own farmland. I realized that I have more than 600 to 700 blocks. So when we started baffling with them, they decided to carry the blocks and put inside the CDC land. The part of the former mixture is still in our land. Then they cut off about 5 trees, palm trees, harvested maize. You understand?
Okay.
And from that same family that we are from 9 mothers, we have more than 50 brothers. Do you think that if we decided to fight back, would it have been what we are talking now?
Okay. Mr. Leo, the installation of the chief of Bwinga 1, 2, and 3 has put an end to the Bonganjo saga. It is left for the new chief of Bwinga 1, His Highness Ikomi Adolf Wolete, to reconcile with the chief of the said Bonganjo chief for peace to reign. This is my humble opinion. Mr. Nembo is writing from Mutengene. Mr. Leo, the demolition order was annulled by the council session because the court of first instance did not have the competence in this matter. Only the SDO can cause the demolition. Thanks. Deputy Mayor Tiko Council. Now it says the installation of the chief of Bwinga 1, 2, and 3 has put an end to the Bonganjo saga. Is Bwinga 1, 2, 3 different from the Bonganjo?
Yes, Bwinga 1 and 2. No, actually, that person is right. There's Bwinga 1 and 2. There's no Bwinga 3.
Okay.
Yeah, the Bwinga 1 is that Esuke place.
Okay.
That's the Bwinga 1. Yes, that is the original of Bwinga, Mutengene. Mutengene has 2 Bwinga, Bwinga 1 and 2. So that place of Esuke is Bwinga 1.
Is that where the problem is?
That's where the problem is.
So how is the matter going to be solved with the said Bonganjo?
That's the problem, because I will quote. When the DO was consulting the chief of Bwinga 1, Ikomi Adolf, he made a statement publicly that I'm consulting you today as a chief, but you people have not given you your villages. It was on air. On the day of the consultative talks of the chief of Bwinga 1. So
is chief without a village?
That is the question. Publicly. So we start asking, why should people be suffering, losing their crops because they are fighting for chieftaincies? We did not go to the administration because we were doubting the name of a place. We went there because there was destruction on our properties. So if they could put a clause that till the name is determined, we did not go there for a name. And even they want to put the name to, I quoted here that when they changed Victoria to Limbe, people's properties are still left on the same position.
Okay. This one says, how can a chief take dogs to fight people? I'm called Nje. Good evening. Nje writing from Mutengene. Good evening to you, Nje. Good evening to you all in the studio. The same Boa Litake is from Boya Rural. His brother from the same father and mother is the chief of Wolikau in the Bojongo Court area, and he has come and implanted himself as chief of Esuke by changing the name to Bonganjo in order to sell land with the administrators. The former state council never sent any complaints concerning this the Misambua to court. We are pleading that this new state council should help the population. Mr. Mboa has given plots to the SDODO, former state council, etc. How can do anything because he has corrupted them all? Okay. My Media Prime team is going to Mutengene next week. We hope that we will get to the chief himself so that we can investigate this matter and present it better. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and my greetings to Mr. Mbella and Mbah Stanley. The only option we, the Mutengene people, would now tend to is to attack and give this Mboa of a man public beatings. Then to him, to the SDU and DU is corrupting. So, okay, Teku Benz is writing from Mutengene. Ngwain Emmanuel Jum writing from Bomenda. Okay. Your message is not clear, and I won't read any message that is not clear. Oh, I don't make sense out of it. Good evening, Mr. Liu and other panelists. I just want to inform you that the microphone of the speaker with, okay, I'm sure that problem has been fixed already. Many persons were worried about their microphone. It's been fixed already. Let the Mutengene people speak. Good evening to you in the studio. Fako elites have given the local administrators the go-ahead to meddle in land-grabbing squabbles, a division in which the wealthy all want to be chiefs for the sake of grabbing lands while losing the traditional values. Okay, good evening to you. Good evening to you all in the studio. Mr. Liu, you are hearing what the women's they are saying. Can you imagine that the deal called those people come no go? Mr. Liu, the deal must be having his own piece of land there. That is why he is using that rubbish word to call the Bamenda people come no go. Amwam Jay-Z writing from Binde Street in Limbe. Good evening, Mr. Liu and other panelists. Please, what we saw in that video is aggravated threats to the peace we are seeking. The actors are not representing Cameroon's culture. This is barbaric. I'm Samuel, writing from Tico. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. This is just one of the situations to improve that Cameroonians' law exists only on papers. Once you are able to bribe your way, then you are above the law. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm truly interested in your programs, but on the other hand, I'm not happy because upon all what we speak every day, none of the problems is solved. Mark is writing from Yaoundé. We have to keep talking, Mark. Hello, I'm Sandra. There is just a question I would love to ask. Will all the administration in Cameroon work against you if you are right? How comes your claims could not be proven in court? Yes, that is a question. But how do we understand that the indigents today, I'm talking about the people of Bwinga, the people of Isuke. I'm talking about Bakwarians themselves. Do they have, why are they not challenging the Chief Mboa?
You know, again, as I made mention that the issue of Fako is so complex.
Because you are claiming that you bought land from the family's Ewane family. Yes. Where are they to defend you because you bought the lands from them?
Actually, for me, we bought the land from the father who is no more. Now is the child who is alive.
But at least the children should be able to recognize the signature of the parents.
Yes, it can only be recognized at a certain time. Not like each time when I have a problem on the said piece of land, I'll go and call him as my landlord. It is not correct. You understand? If I have a problem and it has gotten to a certain level, that's why I will call for him, because he's not running, and I see him even yesterday I was with him, and I explained the same situation to him. You look at that same place there are most of the women that are being threatened in that place are widows. Like this same woman that was beaten yesterday with her children, and they injected them. If you can imagine. And even in the Bible condemns anybody who troubles a widow. There's a lot of cry in that same place. One old woman told me that she was married. The husband married her. By then, in those days, they used to marry girls at a tender age. That the husband brought her there at the age of 14 years, and now she's 72 years of age. And the husband is of late. And it's there that she has been cultivating to send all her children to school. Then today somebody will just come.
Yeah, but this Esuke, Bwinga, lands are, you say there are constructions going on there.
They are ongoing. Yeah.
Are they being constructed by Bonganjo?
By the Mbua, the man himself. He's the one carrying. That's why we are doubting that. Even if you want to rebuild your village, how much money do you have to be building? You are attacking to build about 200 houses at a go. Are you building a camp? The most interesting part of the whole thing is that his biological mother, who sold land to my uncle 37 years ago, The documents are clear on it. I have transferred my customary rights of my parcel of land to Mr. X, was my uncle, and that land is situated at Esuke Benga Mutengene, the biological mother, whose property he is claiming to come and own now. You don't eat their cake and have it. So and all of these documents are with the administration. His biological mother
sold land to
my uncle, and the documents are there.
And they carry Bunganjo?
No, it's Benga Mutengene. That is why we are asking. But again, if they want to change the name, what has people's property got to do with that name even?
Now, but I'm sure you don't know the mother.
I knew her so well. She's of blessed memory.
She was married to the chief? Oh.
No, she was never married to the chief. The mother was never married to the chief. Even the uncle, the paternal grandfather, that's the mother's own father, whom he is claiming to have come to maybe inherit his property, was never a chief. Was never a chief.
And the death certificate is not showing that.
He was born in Bonganjo Boya in bracket. So why should they use the name of a place to carry wanton destruction on people's property? And since they said, before 2016, 2015, there was no house where he has been. Immediately the injunction order was put, he violated and is there building so many houses. So many houses. So, meaning that he is selling people's land and carrying on constructions on those same people's lands. And when you want to talk, I want to tell you something.
Okay.
Immediately he finishes, or immediately you complain, what he does is that he goes to the judicial police in Boya. He lodges a complaint. When you go there, you are asked to sign documents recognizing him as a landlord. Nobody has signed such a document. We are truly saying that people should be very careful. And people who are going to buy lands there will certainly lose their lands because there is resistance. And the resistance is coming more and more.
Okay, the Deputy Mayor of Tiko, Mr. Nembo, is saying that I should precise the date I'm coming to Mutengene. I'm going to say it on Friday. I'll tell the Mutengene people the day I'm coming to Mutengene so that I can go to the land. But we are talking about the Bwinga, Esuke. Where is the land found?
The land,
precisely.
It is.
Well, some persons might have bought land there without knowing that is the land.
Yes, that land. You know, Mutengene is the general name, but originally Benga is the village. So it is just along the Ombe, the stretch land going to Ombe. Okay. That's where that line is. There's a Suke camp. You know, the Germans used to name their plantations. I mean, maybe after rivers or the villages. They used
is the land from the Mutengene Big Mom Market towards
exactly, yeah, towards Limbe on the left, where you find
there's
the
a primary
camp.
School somewhere.
Yeah, there's a primary school on your left. Immediately you crosses the bridge as you go into Ombe. On your left you find a CDC camp. It is called Esuke camp.
Okay.
Yeah. Behind Esuke camp.
Yeah, so
the land is behind Esuke camp. I see. The other side of the road on your right is
no, that
is not concerned.
There was CDC land which was just surrendered to the Mutengene community.
It's not concerned.
It's not concerned.
So it's the land.
Yeah, that's the native land.
Okay, Bunganjo. I'm sure I would love to know the origin of this name, but you are laughing. Are you also curious that these lands do not belong to many indigents? Because they are claiming that maybe they are lying here.
No,
we'll go and find out. Yes.
I'm laughing because I'm looking at. I like going by the law, and on the 5th of February 2019, an injunction was given on that same land. So when an injunction was given on that same land, that nobody should trespass on that land, and nobody should do anything on that land building except those who are doing agriculture, those who are doing their crop, who are planting crops on the line. And that when that injunction was given, it therefore means that nobody has to go and construct on the land. And that injunction is coming from the state of from the state of Cameroon. And there is a deal. So I'm laughing because someone has violated a state institution and is walking freely on the street, beating people, harassing people, making harm to widows and people's family, and nobody is saying anything about it. Therefore, there's a complicity. I don't need a Susia to tell me that there's a complicity. That's why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because the people of Fako have decided to stay mute and allow people to bring in division. I'm laughing because the people of Mutengene have decided to stay mute and allow these things to happen. Because, Leonard, when we explain that, look at the death certificate of Ms. Amboa's grandfather, as he claimed. It contained Esuke Boya. Bongajo Boya. Now, but when you look at the land he's claiming now, he's claiming a land in a different territory, in a different municipality, and a different subdivision. There's Boya division, and there is Boya subdivision, and there is Tiko subdivision. But when you look at it, it's different. So that's what I'm laughing. And secondly, Cameroon is a state of law. I want that the Minister of Territorial Administration should continue in executing his tasks as he has been doing. Okay. And this is the time that they are supposed to call this SDO and DO to order. Who is violating it and who is making the
I'm seeing a document that was dropped here now that dates 22nd of September 2020. I'm sure it's le ministre d'État, secrétaire général, the Minister of State, Secretary General at the Presidency to Monsieur le ministre des Domaines et Cadastres et des Affaires Foncières. It is very urgent, suspension des transactions foncières. Il reads à la suite de plusieurs correspondances reçues à la présidence de la République faisant état de la gestion anarchique des domaines fonciers dans le département du Fako, région du Sud-Ouest. J'ai l'honneur de vous répercuter les 13 autres instructions du chef de l'État, vous prescrivant de suspendre toutes les transactions foncières dans ce département, that is Fako, ainsi que les rétrocessions des terrains de la Cameroon Development Corporation, CDC. Okay, to say that the government is taking keen interest in what is happening. It is true. This is that was last month, 22nd of from the presidency instructing the minister in charge, which means that the government is putting a key eye on what is happening as far as land is concerned in Fako, and maybe that may also justify why some actions may be being fast-tracked, so that before action is taken, the damage is done. Yeah.
Maybe because if you look at the speed in which he's carrying on this construction, you know that there's something in the pipeline, and where we want to suspect much additional foul play, he's now ever in the judicial police in Boya. Every day, make sure when he tampers on your land, the next day he takes you to the judicial police. You are asking people to bring their documents. They will bring. But you will not ask the complainant his own documents. And that's why the Procurator General wrote in 2017 that the State Council of Tiko then, at the time, should investigate the said person and again stop him from carrying on any construction work till the final determination. That means when the administration will put an end to this matter. So even if the orders of the Procurator General were not respected, I keep doubting what is happening. And I will still repeat, nobody has monopoly for violence.
Okay. All of this happening in Mutengene is because Cameroonians are not well educated with the land tenure system in Cameroon. All lands in Cameroon, in as much as it's not titled, is national land, and anyone by virtue of occupation and development can apply for a land certificate. Those who say bought land from there decades ago, what stopped them from applying for land certificates for those parcels? They would not have found themselves in this mess. Oliver is writing from Bomenda. Good evening to you, Oliver. This one says, in this modern world, did a person have the right to take property, people's property? Hamilton is writing from Mutengene. How can a chief be violating the injunction order given by the divisional officer. I'm writing from Mutengene. My name is Mani. Tell those complaining to work with Chief Ikomi Wolete to achieve good results. I don't know whether you're working with him already. This one says, good evening to you all in the studio. I really enjoy your program with powerful points. Thank you very much. Excuse me. Good evening. Mr. Mbella Elive, okay, is the chairman of Wonja village at Mapanja. At the same time, is he the caretaker of the land of his uncle bought within the Mutengene court area? Mr. Mbella, I don't know. You may have to answer that question. This one says, Fako division is possibly the most corrupt division in southwest region because of it is unheard of that SDOs and DOs just interfere in traditional issues at will. Cultural rights and values need to be respected. Terence is also writing from Mutengene. Mr. Liu, I'm loving this program. The said chief of Esuke, Mr. Mbella, I know you are aware of the history of the village. How did this name come? Was in history? I'm curious to know. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leonard and the panel. My regards to Mbah Stanley, my Mutengene brother. Makomi is writing. This one says, please, talking about this chief is very funny as he even calls himself the beast. I see. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Is Mokumak writing from Magba. I'm truly interested in your programs, but on the other hand, I'm not happy because upon what we speak, okay? Hi, good evening, Mr. Liu. That name Bonganjo have never existed from creation. So the government should mark an end to the crisis. If not, lives will perish. Among Cool Paddy writing from Limbe. Good evening to you in the studio, Mr. Liu. We need to keep politics aside and pray to God to intervene in our nation in order to succeed. It's Bruno Reyes writing from Limbe. Good evening, Mr. Liu. How comes an administrator calling other Cameroonians come no go? The DO must apologize to those people in question. This is sad situation. Mercurius. Okay. This one says, the aspect of the DO calling Northwesterners come no go is hate speech, which is tearing this country apart. I think his hierarchy should condemn that, and perpetrators, especially the DO, should be taken to book. And former Desmond. Now, how did you people acquire these lands? Those who are claiming, is it just by buying the lands?
Yeah, as I told you, that place was a village. I mean, near extinction. So, when there's a village, it means it's made up of so many families. And the families who originally inherited those lands from maybe their parents or grandparents, some of them at one point in time decided to sell. And if you've given some, when we talk of sales, they gave up those lands and they were compensated. When we talk about sales, so nobody has a right to buy or to bet again. When you are given compensation on a parcel of land, that means you have given up your traditional and customary rights over that piece of land. It is no more yours. So by so doing, people, that's why you hear it is national land of the first category. We have national land of the first category occupied by villagers. National land of the second category is where maybe people go there to do farming. That land is national land of the first category, where the villagers, I mean, that is a village. So, as a matter of fact, nobody found himself there without passing through the appropriate means or channel to acquire land. Yeah. So, as I was telling you, the biological mother ceded lands to my uncle. She was compensated. The documents are there. He has never argued that the mother did not sell those lands. He had never argued. Even before the administration, he has never argued. So you start asking. That's why we say this is an extreme provocation. Extreme. Extreme.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu. With all due respect to the traditional rulers of Fako, they are all shooting themselves on the leg by embracing politics and insulting the traditional integrity. The government is playing the divide rule. Emil is writing from Boya. Quite interesting program. Okay, thank you. Now, how did this? I asked the question how you got the lands, but if you got the lands and the families are existing and they are not complaining, can we say the chief is a superhero of the village who wants to claim the lands for the indigents of Bonganjo?
What I can say about it is that their handwriting is written on the wall, very clear for everybody to see. Because if I don't have any problem with my landlord, the person who gave me the piece of land, who gave it to my father, a couple of years ago, before I was born, until today, we are still interacting with the family, doing things together. Do you expect to go and start bringing problems to him with him when I don't have any problem with him? That somebody just show face from somewhere and is claiming what does not belong to him.
But some people say you guys should work with the chief wallet that you're talking about. We hear very little from him.
He recognized us even before they did that. He was the deal of Tico came to put him as the chief. We were given a special invitation. The family of Chief Samamba, who went there with labels and drinks and we gave them money. Now, so what do you expect?
It is the deal that actually installed him.
Yes.
As chief of Bwenga 1.
Bwenga 1, yes.
But Esuke, where is Esuke? Esuke
is a quarter in Bwenga.
In Bwenga.
Yes.
He is the chief.
He is the chief.
Where's Bwenga?
It is a matter for laughter, you know. So you see, when you look at it, if I give you a parcel of land, somebody comes to take it from you. If you have enjoyed your quiet enjoyment there for more than 50 years, why should I even do not need to go to my landlord?
But where is Bonganjo, please?
That's why I say there is a document in 2015. Publishing gazetted villages in Fako from the Minister of Territorial Administration and Decentralization.
Bonga is there.
Yeah, but you find Mutengene as a whole.
It means there is another conflict between the chief Boa and the Walete, because that is the same piece of land.
That is the same piece of land. So, and that, you see, the whole scenario in the whole thing there is that, you see, I'm sorry, our matter was not really on this chieftaincy issue. But again, when he was consulted, he was not consulted on that land. The consultations were done in the customary court. Even the so-called Mbua was never consulted on that land. No, because they attempted consulting him there. I wrote to the senior divisional officer that there is an administrative injunction. Consulting him on that land might create problems.
Yeah.
So he was never consulted on that land.
That's based on 2019 administrative injunction.
Yes. So finally, I think after the consultations, he just went and started building.
Okay. Let us get the video of the one mother who was recently attacked on that piece of land, and a man. Let them tell their story, please.
He wanted ground the whole way.
If he wanted ground, go people will tie their face, knock and choke injection.
You say you have? Just talk now.
Yeah, yesterday they meet up as we come for look. Well, maybe we can't tell we see the corn and cassava. So we go see more, go look the place. I will snap and more than 15 guys they just come on inside bush like honey. The four were asking classes. So they start beat we, they carry we go for a palace. As they reach for the palace, they clear we like TV for the Emma for them. So we should for them for one see the other person come up about the other he bring pieces. He bring pieces. He can tie our faces. So as he tie our faces, they carry some injection can choke on for hand. So after they choke on for hand, they also say na injection for which way choke on for hand is in a painkiller because they don't have a big with collapse.
So na painkiller.
Yes.
Because a lot of people now collapse.
Yes.
So the one doing a painkiller now?
Yes.
Okay. They took all now?
All we took.
Oh, they took you too?
I think it also happened.
Yeah,
so it give me after the beating the snake, beating with collapse. We are not doing nothing. I just come to see how I see the destruction will run ground or me farmland, cut corn, cut.
A whippy collapse.
Yes.
What size?
Okay. There was a cash on my 28,000.
Okay. Tamai Jarvis, this is Cameroon. How do we explain this?
No, this is not Cameroon, Leonard. The Cameroon knows a Cameroon of law. The Cameroon knows that Cameroon, you see a brother, you give him drink and not injection. The Cameroon knows that Cameroon, you see someone in my 17, you wave and you ask the person where is he going
maybe
to.
they are trespassing.
This is not Cameroon. But the sad reality there is that we see this is a moment where we need the forces of law and order to act. First is you are not a doctor. You are not a pharmacist. You don't have any legal or any document that gives you that power to biologically and scientifically inject someone with whether it is a painkiller or a prescription. First, it is illegal. Second, and you get that person well beaten, tortured, you get that person eye tied. It is another issue. Let's keep aside the fact that you are fighting for land. Nothing stops you to just get that person and you call the force of law and order. So come on, they take them and go if they are trespassing. If they are trespassing, nothing stops you to follow the legal procedure. Then it's trespass. Leonard, this land has an injunction from 2019. And that injunction currently 2019 states that you can cultivate on that land. And those people were mainly cultivating on that land. Even if they chief on that land, come on, and the one region, that region is facing a conflict, and food shortages is an issue. So if people are cultivating food to sustain the few people that have mustered the courage to stand and defend the territory to one indivisible Cameroon, and you still go and tell them this is their product, therefore you are tampering with the law of the land. You are destroying the state. You are not building the state. And I'm sad to see that the DO and the SDO, they are muted, and the mayor of the municipality need to stand up. This is the moment where the mayor needs to stand up, because I feel that he was elected by the people to take action and to ensure that if the voices of others are suppressed, he as a mayor needs to come into being and to take precedent. We need to see the mayor come up and say, okay, this is happening in my municipality. You know, see, we are quiet with this because I want to applaud the effort of Barrister and the entire team of taking this matter from a legal perspective. Because if they are taking the violent, nobody has monopoly over violence. If they are taking the violent perspective, we should be talking something different now. And maybe there's a language that they want these people to use. There's a statement that we always use that even a goat, when pushed to the wall, can bite. Because a goat is known for not biting. A goat is known for just respect. But sometimes if you want to kill a goat, in a position that goat feel it is paining the goat, that goat can bite you. And we must say Cameroon is a state of law. I will always go by my statement, and I respect that. And by this, the Minister of Territorial Administration, who has been doing a lot as far as this land issue is concerned, write to the SDO, say that dear SDO, handle this issue. The SDO upon that receive and say, okay, they will create a commission, and gave a 7-day ultimatum in April, from April 2020 to October. Where is the commission? What is being said about the commission? The people went back to the same father whom they call the SDO. They went to the father they call the DO. The DO tell them they are come no go under the same country that we are fighting for a unified and one indivisible Cameroon. And you tell me that this country is destroyed by Pobia. No, the president is doing a lot to ensure that these things are resolved. But individuals, and sadly it's happening in Fako because of the divide and rule policy. And I expect that it should not just prominent person from Mutengene should speak. We expect elite from Fako, because it's Fako. We should speak. There was a crisis in Lewola Malale in Moya, where a village caught bomb, and people who were farming around Lewola Malale is located opposite the soccer camp at where you are going to a corner down. There was a land that was somebody caught up and said it is his locality, and the same thing happened. Crops were chopped up, and they were saying that no, these are come no go. We keep hearing this come no go issue, and when these people will rise, it should not be that they are fully legal channel.
There's no justification for people to go violent, whatever.
No, we are not saying that they should be.
The same person will intimidate you with convocations. We are under Tiko, but he has been terrorizing people, taking people to Tiko. Now, as I'm sitting here with you, I have a convocation that was being issued to me from Boya. I have slept in Boya. The judicial police say once. Last week was my senior brother. This time around, they have bring me another convocation again for investigation. That have not committed any crime. The question was they took our statement. I was expecting that they should send the matter to the court. Till today, it has not been sent to the court. But each and every time the woman will ask us to bring our original document. I don't know whether a judicial police has a competent right to ask your original document. Until I had to call, and my senior sister had to call a lawyer to come and interfere in order for her to take the photocopy of the document. So each time, it seems as if it's a money-making issue. And a mother, for that matter, that has children. I don't know if blood is running through her veins. That you look an old person like me, you put me inside the say, just because you need money. And at the time they say we should go for locals. And a judicial police will ask you 200,000 francs for locals. An amount that the court cannot even ask.
What is locals? Locals is for what?
That to go and see the set area that is disputed.
Which has an injunction.
That has an injunction order.
Okay. How do we explain what these persons who we saw in the video? Where are they now?
They were discharged from the hospital yesterday because I visited them.
Okay.
And in fact, up till around 7 o'clock in the evening, I saw them. They were already discharged. I think they're following the legal procedure. Yes, because you cannot inject somebody. You are not a medical doctor. When the other time I was beaten there by dogs, I went to look for, in fact, the vaccine, this rabies vaccine, and I could not get it. Treatment, I couldn't. So how far are we sure that he vaccinates those dogs? And I had a 21-day incapacity. The matter is in court.
Yeah, but my question, these are Mutengene people. There is a mayor for Tiko who, I'm sure he used to live in Mutengene. He still lives in Mutengene now.
He still.
Why are these people not also crying to the mayor to look into their problem? Look at, especially these guys who were injected.
No, that's why I told you that I've written to him. And I've told him, not long ago, I called him on phone. You see, I like writing. And I have acknowledgement proof that I wrote to him. Come again, if somebody is carrying on construction buildings in your municipality, is he not supposed to obtain a building permit?
Yeah, maybe it was issued.
No, I don't know, but I'm sure no permit was issued. You cannot issue a building permit on a place that has an administrative injunction. And it is based on that violation of that administrative injunction and not having building permits. That's why the senior divisional officer visaed the demolition. When somebody is writing there that the municipal deliberation cancelled the demolition, that demolition was visaed by the supervisory authority of all councils, as the SDO for Fako. It was not a court order. So that's why I'm saying, look, if you go and see the people whom he has kept there, they are not Mutengene boys. They aren't. Yes. He has brought people from outside Mutengene. And again, that's why we are saying we need peace, because Cameroon is a state of law.
Cameroon is a state of law. How good, hello, good evening. Mr. Elive, how did we get here? One man in the name of a chief ordering boys to beat people. Such impunity. Such a shame. Tabi is writing from Boya. From Douala. As per the revelations from that video, the so-called chief should be behind bars now. He is a medic to inject people with what he calls painkillers, and he had to tie their eyes before administering the set injection. Those victims should do medical legal certificates and file complaints of assault to the State Council. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and all the studio. It's a pity Cameroon is really a shithole country. If it's explained to you and you understand, then the person didn't explain well. Government should react to this. If a mother places cares on the so-called chief until it works, I trust our mothers with Takumbans. Birita is writing from mile 6, Mancon in Bamenda. This one says, I don't know if that chief is a medical doctor. Can you tell me? It says Mr. Nje. I don't know myself, Nje. I'm also just discovering these videos here. Good evening, Mr. Liu. This issue of land is taking another direction. The government should handle this issue because the deal is painting the image of this country black. The matter can cause havoc. Let the hierarchy react fast to this. Those two persons who are talking, they were being injected are all lies because they were caught removing survey beacons from Bonganjo farmland, meaning the chief of Bonganjo. Oops. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and by extension to all the panelists, is Mr. Mbella, who is from, okay, the chairman of Wonja village, fighting for the property of his uncle. Okay. Tell me where you are writing from, please. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Mr. Mboa has been a chairman in one village in Wotutu. Now he's say he is chief in other village. Stop calling. Just send me a message. I'll read them. Now he is chief in other village. Let him stop what he is doing because God is watching at him. I'm writing from mile 4 in Limbe. Mr. Liu, I love your program. Baron is writing from Douala. Last Sunday, he sent the subordinates who are, please, talking about this chief is very funny as he called himself the beast. Last Sunday, he sent the subordinates who are even illiterate to go to the bush and beat people with machetes who are older than the chief himself. They even caught some of these people to the chief's residence when neighbors heard about it, went to check this man who was beaten. The so-called chief released dogs to bite people. Unfortunately for him, the dogs aren't trained. The dogs are confused. Okay. It's funny today, please. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm writing from Boya. I'm called Rocky Ndi. I love your program. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Desmond. Good evening to you, Desmond. Mr. Liu, worthy of note is the fact that the said chief is working in collaboration with some top administrators of the division at the detriment of poor farmers. What a pity. Councillor Denise, writing from Tico. Good evening to you, Councillor Denise. This one says, Mr. Liu, your program is nice, but my judgment on Fako land issue is blame on a NAM graduate for misbehavior in the country. Sakwe Martin is writing from Tico. Can we have a replay of the video of the persons who are said to have been injected?
Ewane take ground for the whole world.
Ewane take ground and go people and tie their face, knock and choke injection.
You say you have, but talk now.
Yeah, yesterday the meter we as we come for look, Mwambo we can tell we see the kolkoti corn and cassava. So we go see more go look the place. I will snap and more than 15 guys they just come on inside bush like honey before we asking colasses. So they start beat me, they carry we go for a palace. As they reach for the palace, they clear we like people the emma for them. So we should for them now. One see the other person come up about the other he bring pieces. He bring pieces. He can tie our faces. So I see tie our faces. They carry some injection can choke off our hand. So after they choke off our hand, they also say na injection for which way choke off our hand is in a painkiller because they don't have a big with collapse.
It's in a painkiller?
Yes.
Because a lot of people have collapse?
Yes.
So the one doing a painkiller now?
Yes.
Okay. They took all now?
All we took.
They took you too?
I think it also happened.
Ah.
Yeah, so he give me after the beating with collapse. We are not doing nothing. I just come to see how I feel the destruction will not do or me farmland, don't cut corn.
Oh, the whippy collapse. Yes. What side? Okay.
And there was a cash on my pocket, 28,000 as they harassed me like that. And finally they released me and I did not find the 28,000.
Now, Tamai Jarvis, we're talking about the law here. Let's assume that these guys were caught trespassing. Those who attacked them, did they not take the laws into their hands?
They took the laws into their hands. Not just the law of beating, but the health law. Not just the health law, but equally the law of social disorder. Because, Leonard, there are procedures. Let's say I come into your house and you see that I am a threat to you, and you succeeded in getting me caught up. You succeeded in getting me at a still position. The next thing you should do is you pick up your phone and you call the police. And you said, these persons came to my house doing this, doing that, and these are them. The police will take them and now continue with the legal process and with the judicial process. But the fact of the matter, Leona, here is that you get this set of persons, get them well beaten with evidence that the machete were used on them. First, you don't know their health conditions. Second, you don't know their financial conditions. And thirdly, you don't know the mouth that they feed. Remember that when you attack a person, it's a chain of events. And now, when you attack series of persons, you have destabilized the social peace of the area. And I expect the divisional officer, the senior divisional officer, to take this matter serious and ensure that those who commit that act, they should be arrested and they should be now behind bars. We expect to see these persons not just behind bars, but why we inject someone? We don't know the substance they were used, and we saw a message that somebody wrote and stating that they were giving 100,000 francs with evidence of somebody showing marks and beatings. And you are telling us that they gave 100 francs. Let's say they gave 100 francs. Is that an excuse for you to beat that person up and you pay that person? So you now beat people and pay. You are indirectly telling us that you can beat and pay and case go nowhere, which is not true, because there is a state where we are in. The President of the nation and the Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Dongute is from Southwest, and he's struggling to ensure that there is stability in the North and Southwest region, and he's struggling to ensure that those who are living in the North and Southwest region, to be more precise, live in harmony, in peace, with serenity. I am from the Northwest region, and I own a property in Moya, and there's no way I've been told in Moya to go back from Grafi. I was born in Moya, and at the end of the day, you expect that when someday you come and tell me that I should go back, I am a Cam no go. There is a law that was imposed in this country of hate speech. And this country was founded by law, and there is that of Baningwalizing and Multiculturalizing Commission. This is a moment we expect Masunga, who is at the Baningwalizing and Multiculturalizing Commission. Listen how people are being called Cam no go, and they should not stay quiet. That commission should come in and state that this is Cameroon. Each Cameroonian has a right to reside, to domicile, and to stay on property wherever and whenever they belong, they need to. But when we see this act like this, it's heartbreaking that Cameroon that we are struggling to build, some people are instead struggling to destroy. And the DO and the SDO, I will always go by Mr. Paul Atangaji. I respect him so much, and I know that he will do something when it comes to Fako. We have just seen the communique which has been sent out concerning the issue of Fako, and who knows if this land issue is there. Because if you see what the communique states, that the issues will be looked into in the land of Fako, my plea is that the people of Mutengene should move on with their peaceful way of handling things. They should not go the violent way because nobody has monopoly over violence. No, they should continue peaceful because the law will take its cost.
All these guys called chiefs may be of no use. Most of them are just the same working in collaboration with the so-called DOs and SDOs to kill the land. Frank is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Frank. Good day to the crew on duty now. Congratulations. I just want to ask the chief, he sent his 15 Amber boys that he's keeping to go vandalize. The chief should be locked up by now. A chief who tie people face and inject them. Tico without administration. He should be behind bars now. Papa Mbete is writing from Limbe. Good evening to you. This one says, and he entered the land, even the land that have land certificate, he still entered the land to build, and when it carries to court, they play tricks on you who have the land certificate, and enter the land to destroy. And he told farmers that the court is on his palms, the deal is with him, that he wants to see where the farmers will go. And the Mboa said that he have spent more than 100 million and that he must seize all the lands. We would really love to also have an interview with the chief Mboa to also hear from him if it's possible. Yes. Good evening, Mr. Liu and your members. I really love and enjoy your program. I still want to condemn the word come no go. When the head of state preaches togetherness, he too is also come no go, because he is not a man from Tiko. Mbah Stanley is writing from Kumba, that's in Cape Town. Good evening to you, Mbah Stanley. From Kumba, we are also waiting to know who the new city mayor of Kumba is going to be, because elections are supposed to take place. I don't know whether they're taking place today or tomorrow. Good evening, Mr. Leo. We like your program. The fear of God is not in these people, and the government should send all of them to prison. Emande is writing from Tombel. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. Keep on. Douglas is writing from Muyuka. This one is I am Mr. Adamu Gambo from Mwa, Northwest. I don't know why Fako had so many problems with land. Thanks. Okay, good evening to you, Adamu Gambo. How can you torment humans in that manner? I appreciate you for all the interesting programs you have been doing. Cameroon has become something else. God have mercy. Favor is writing from Limbe. Good evening to you, Favor. Good evening, Mr. Liu. My name is Do Samantha. I'm writing from Bali Kumbat. What is going on in the land? Matter is very delicate. Good evening to you, writing from Bali Kumbat. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. It's gracious from Mile 2 in Bamenda. Good evening to you too. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The so-called chief is corrupting the administrators to get what does not rightfully belong to him. Why use dogs if the land is truly yours? This land issue in Mutengene should be redressed. This is really madness. Esther is writing from Mutengene. Land issue in Mutengene has been redressed. Okay. Greetings to you all. Is Justice Wanuka writing from Chang. That guy is not a chief. Okay, I won't use the other word. Good evening, Mr. Liu. How sure are we that the liquid was painkiller? It could be poison. Enes is writing from Kumbo, that is in Bui Division. Where are the traditional council members of either Boganjo or Winga 1 and 2? Because we are hearing of chiefs, and where are the chiefs not being advised by members of their traditional councils?
Oh yes, like the chief of Gwengawan was put about 3 weeks ago. This matter had been for more than 5 years. He still has to come out of his traditional hiding.
They're still in the Ndawan Banjo.
So when he comes out,
okay,
hopefully he'll come up with the traditional council, and maybe he will try to see what he can do, what he will be able to do. The point is that, you see, I want to still strongly believe that this guy, his influence is coming from all of these lands that he's selling, because he's making huge sums of money, you know. So even if these chiefs maybe happens to sit with their traditional councils or councillors, they might not be able to resolve this matter. Because if you look at the level of violence is perpetrating down there, as a matter of fact, I want to tell you, because already the administrators or the administration has given, a blind eye or a deaf ear to this matter. Yes, because, as I said, they have the right to punish this guy.
Okay, they have a right to punish him. This one says they work with the administration. Joe is writing from Limbe. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm called Mokete Eric from Douala. Your program is interesting and I like it more. Grace to you, sir. Thank you very much. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Prince Eko, writing from Deboncha, the so-called Bonganjo village, which is a village inside a village in Mutengene. Why does the chief of Mutengene not come out to testify if such a village is existing? Okay, that is also a question for pondering. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm confused. If these my backward brothers, how can one be a chief in Wotutu like 10 years ago and now a chief? Stop your calls, please. After chief in Mutengene, after that long, boy is okay. Administrators are playing along because of money and administration is bad. Everyone is looking for money. This one says he has been to Gabon and like 20 years without any achievement. Mami Namundo is writing from Bokwango. Good evening to you. Hello, Mr. Liu. Let's get something clear here. Is that parcel of land covered by land certificate in that name of any? Oliver is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to the crew, Mr. Tama Jarvis. The way you talk proves you are igniting violence in this matter. Some of these lands are all over Southwest, are being forcefully and dubiously taken by the grasslanders using their open eye. Please try and speak peace, not provocation. Roland is writing from Kumba. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The said chief is okay, but in place by the administrators of Fako to enrich themselves. From the video shown, where on earth can a traditional leader be seen with a spade threatening Mbella, and at the end he goes scot-free? From his facial view, he is one of those fueling the Anglophone crisis from his personal gain. Martin is writing from Mutengene. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's Fallon from Mutengene. The program is interesting. God bless you. God bless you too, Fallon. Good evening, Mr. Liu. A few months ago, this same chief had one guy beaten, cut his leg, and told the police that he was beaten by spirits. Okay. In Gabon, that he was practicing his native doctor work. Dekeju, writing from Mutengene. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm writing from Balikumbat. My name is Kingsley Do. I love your program. Kingsley, thank you too for watching the program all the way from Balikumbat. Good evening, Maru, Mr. Boss Legend, writing from Douala. Marvelous show, Mr. Liu. I'm just to tell the chief who fight his people, fight a lost battle. A man who plays with sharp objects near his eyes has made up his mind to become blind. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Okay, we want to thank everybody who has followed the program and sent us messages. We have to end the program at this juncture just to say that possibly we are going to come to Mutengene to do a special edition on this land matter, and we would really love to also talk to Chief Mboa so that he gives his side of the story. We may be sending wrong messages from here, but I hope that when we come to Mutengene, we'll meet you again.
Yeah, you'll meet me. Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
And also to you, Mbella. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Liu. It's a pleasure, and we hope that we've started blowing our whistles, and we shall continue to blow our whistles up till when we get to today. The Prime Minister has to get all of this information. I think we've gone there. We still have to go there because it is good to be talking facts. And we are not disappointed. We still have to push. Cameroon is a state of law. And keep on respecting the laws of our land.
And that violence will not be given a place here.
Not at all.
Okay,
and
let the law take its course.
The law will take its course. Thank you.
Okay, hi Mr. Liu, I like your program and the topic is quite delicate. Nothing gives a man the right to beat up another one on the land issue, for no one came with a land. Pastor Breeze is writing from Douala. Please, the calls are making it difficult for me to read most of the messages. Good evening, Mr. Liu, with your interesting program. Let the chief be investigated. He sent 15 Amber boys. Let him bring the rest of the boys. Oops. There are many messages, but the calls, you keep calling. It's difficult for me to read the messages. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Mr. Tekang George. I bought parcels of land and in that same place. Do you know that the same so-called chief called the military who arrested me for walking on my land? The military took me to Isuke camp and placed my buttocks on mud and addressed me an amber because I had my colors. The second time I was arrested and taken to Gendarmerie Mutengene, and I paid 25,000 francs before I was released. I am Mr. Tekang George. Quite a sad one there for you. Mr. Tekang, we feel your pain. We hope that peace comes back to the Mutengene. Hi again, Mr. Liu. I strongly urge Mr. Mbella and co. to take the administrator to court for preaching hate speech. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm writing from Bafmeng. The program is interesting. Okay. Glad to read from you out there in Bafmeng in Fungom subdivision, Menchum division of Cameroon. Tamai Jarvis, thank you for taking part in the program.
Thank you, Luna. Thanks to the peace-loving people of Mutengene. Like I said, that I appreciate their effort of taking it from a peaceful perspective. And I want to encourage them to go by the law, because with the law they can win and they will eventually win. I want to say good evening to the head of state and the Prime Minister of the Republic and the Minister of Territorial Administration, because I know he will look into this matter of Fako, and especially good evening to the peace-loving people of Moya, and why not those from Mutengene and Auntie Emma and who is watching us from Bonaberi right now.
Good evening and good night to all of you who took time off to watch this program. A special thank you to the production team, to you, Eli, and to you, Christopher, and to you, Christian, and to you at the broadcasting. We want to thank you to Dabi Bryant, who is supervising our work out here, and a special greeting to all the people of Mutengene, the people of Fako, the people of the Southwest region, the people of Cameroon. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Save your money with Orange. Buy your Orange SIM for 100 francs only and do what you like as you like. Dial #124*0# for enjoy every day for 5 days. 500-minute calls to Orange numbers, then 1000 megabyte, 100 SMS call for 25 francs per minute to other networks. No be all that though. Save more money with Orange Money. For every Orange Money account where you create, enjoy money transfers for the rest of 2020. Just dial #150#. Also, for every Orange Money deposit of at least 1,000 francs where you do, you go get to enjoy all free bundle advantages then. Just dial #150*20#. Something past this?
Orange.